Hello learners, I am Pradeep Naik, CEO of Fuel India. I welcome you all to the wonderful world of events. Today we are going to talk about growth and scope of event industry. Well, I have been in this industry for a little more than 15 years and I have seen a tremendous growth in this industry. I have seen the hardships in the industry. I have seen the challenges that industry faced, the difficulties that industry has overgrown to and to what it is today. Today, in the year 2020, we are looking at international platforms, we're looking at global platforms, and many other opportunity. But when I started 15 years back, the scene was completely different. It was still in the nascent stage, but yes, there were a lot of players already existing in the market. And there were some events happening, but yes, there were very few events that was happening as per the international standards. But now, with a lot of investments, a lot of corporates and a lot of companies moving their base to India, a lot of multinationals who have set up their offices and their factories in India, and many other countries who have invested through FDI and other norms of government in India. And India being one of the one of the fastest growing country amongst other countries in the world, has kind of catch the attention of all the countries across the globe. Also, the government, which has been doing work for the last 8 to 10 years, they have reached out to the global economy, making India as one of the major contributor to the economy and drawing all the attention. I'm sure in various news related to finance and other articles you would have read about that. But let me just touch upon as to what scope would be there for the event industry and what is the amount of growth that we have seen. I have some facts and figures that I have to share with you. For that, allow me to show the presentation. As I mentioned, the topic of the day, growth and scope of event industry. This are some images of the different types of events that we do. So, as I mentioned, event management is looked upon as the sunrise industry in the service sector. Well, yes, our industry comes under the service sector. Well, there are different services, could be housekeeping, could be HR, functioning finance, and many other things which come under service industry. And event as an industry has been seen as the sunrise sector. There are two reasons. Okay, now 10 years back, there wasn't any formal education format for events. Okay, so what happened is that, like for example, for HR there is BBHR, BBMHR, etc. They have many courses. For finance, you have CA, you have BCom, MCom, and many other. So for different types of services that come under service sector, there is some or the other vocational or any kind of a formal education format. But for event industry as such, there wasn't anything of that format. I think till at least till 2010. In last 10 years, things have picked up. A lot of institutions have started specialized courses. They have PG diploma courses. They have diploma courses. They have specialization in the graduation program. They have specialization in the master's program. So that's how it is seen as a sunrise industry. The reason being, it came without any strong background. It just came out as a people skill industry. But now, with a lot of formal education, it has got more organized and even better. The industry, which was at 5,631 crore in 2016-17, overall has been growing at 16% CAGR, even overtaking the Indian media and entertainment industry, which is growing at 1130. So in terms of our turnover, it might not be as much as the media and entertainment industry, but in terms of the growth rate that we have now, we've been doing 16% CAGR. Like if there was a stock option, I would say with the event industry, that's an awesome rate that you can expect. Well, compared to 11 to 13% in media and entertainment industry. Now, this 5,631 crores way back in 2016-17, we are talking about an organized sector. Companies which are private limited, companies which is LLP, companies which is proprietorship, companies which are registered, companies probably through service tax or through GST, they are registered and they are showing their numbers in terms of transaction or doing turnovers, which is completely with corporates or which is done completely in a official way. Well, this would be just 60% because the equal amount of 40%, which is completely, or 50% to 40%, which is unorganized sector. This, as I mentioned, our industry started as a skilled, as a people skill industry where people gain skill by working in event industry and then they rose up to creating their own companies or creating production houses. So what happened is a lot of people still 40 to 50%, as I would say, even today, that they're still under unorganized, in the sense they would invest and they would rent out things for, sometimes it would be pure cash transaction, sometimes it would be a bill transaction, so many other. And a lot of people might not have registered, or a lot of people are below the transaction of 20 to 30 lakhs a year. So you'll find a lot. I mean, when I say a lot, it's like thousands of companies. So an equal amount, I would say, would be there in an unorganized sector. So this report was put together by Ernst and Young for EMA, that is Events and Entertainment Management Association. That's where we got this data from. So they have been actively looking. So Ernst and Young, being such a big financial company looking towards event industry and their growth rate, so they have predicted that event industry as an industry would grow beyond 10,000 crore mark in 2020-2021. That is this the financial year that we'll be looking up to as I make this video. So that is the growth rate. So just imagine 5,631 crores in 16-17. Exactly 5 years from there, we are looking at double. Look at the CAGR. Like no, I think this is one of the most promising industry that can give you that kind of returns. But that the reason being the amount of growth that is happening. As I told, a lot of corporates coming into India, a lot of brands that are coming into India, that is their global. And most importantly, people in India who have got this exposure, who have gone to different countries, done these courses, have brought all those things to India and are expanding. Like if there were 10 companies who were used to do events abroad way back in 2009, today we have 200 companies who are doing such things. Before, I would say there is only 100 destination weddings used to happen, and today there is 100 destination weddings that happen every month. So that is the scale that is increased to. Also, a report by Allied Market Research, it also says that the global event industry stands at 1,100 billion in 2018, and it is also expected to grow at 10.3. On a global level, it is growing at 10.3%, because there are a lot of countries that come under it, like close to 140, 150 countries that come under the global ratings that they're going to do. And they expect this to go to 2,330 billion by 2026. That is another 8 years from 2018. That is 2020 that we are looking into right now. It might be another 5 to 6 years. But look at this size, $2,330 billion industry. That's the size. That's the size. And I'm sure India will be one of the major contributor to that number. Now, let me just show you a graph, which is for India. This is put together by Ernst & Young. So in way back in 2011, if you see, we were at 2,800 crores, and we grew up on a close to 15% CAGR from there, 3,248, then 3,700, and 4,208, and then 6,610 in 2018, and then now we are predicting 2021, because 18, 19, some I think EY reports are yet to be submitted. So once we see that, we'll get the detail. But this is what is predicted. It's going to be a huge jump, and the CAGR is going to be much, much higher there. So this is what I'm trying to say in terms of numbers and graphs, giving you a clear statistics as to how our industry is growing at a very fast pace. Now, industry overview. The largest segment, now you might be saying 10,000 crores. So what is happening at 10,000? Who are the contributors for the 10,000 crore? So the largest segment still says that 90% comes under managed events. Managed event in the sense, for example, our company, Fuel India, or could be Viscraft, or could be any other company who are managing event for the client. So a client could be anybody, could be HP, could be Biocon, could be Government of India, Government of Karnataka, or Government of Maharashtra, or anything. So we are managing event for them. So 90% of still the 10,000 crores is formed, what we are predicting is by managed events. And only 10% is IPS and activation. That, well, they are seeing it since 2013. But what I see is that all of a sudden, in the last 3-4 years, I'm talking about since 2016-17, the pace at which the IPs are picking up, I think no country is going to match the kind of IPs that we're going to produce. And the second industry, which is picking up rapidly, is sports. Look at the kind of sports that have come to India in the last 4 years. Hockey league, we have very premier badminton premier league, we have rugby tournaments, we have NBA that has come to India, we have powerboat racing that has come to India. So there are multiple formats of sports which was not a part of India has come to India, and they are all dependent upon big level of big scale events. So sports event under event, the sports category takes off at a very, very fast pace, as much as 18% per annum growth. That is what people are looking at, and people are looking at specialized. So if you see a small graph that I've put up on the right hand side, so the activations is what we talk about activations, for example, the mall activation or the road shows, etc., etc. That is coming down slightly, the sampling and all those things which come under regular activations. And at the same time, the digital events are picking up because thanks to our government, the Digital India campaign, so they are trying to reach out to the rural through different. So every household, I think, today has a smartphone, and people are seeing a lot of content through their smartphone. So all the events now have a kind of have a digital intervention to it. Whether it's a concert, whether it is a show or an award function, will have some kind of a digital intervention or an overlap. So that's why digital events have picked up drastically and managed events up there. But IP, as you see, intellectual property is growing. Though there is a small percentage of IPs produced in India, but the revenue contribution is huge. So if you see, because for example, Sunburn is an IP, India Bike Week is an IP, we look at many, the India Kids Fashion Week is an IP, Entertainment Show is an IP, Social Nation is an IP. So each IP, the scale, the one IP might be creating a huge turnover. So the percentage of IPs that are happening compared to the managed events is very, very less. But terms of say, if you see here, managed events are 56%, but the revenue they contribute is 53%. But intellectual property IPs is there to 2% of the events that are happening in India, but it is contributing 17% of our event industry revenue. So look at that scope. I would definitely be more than happy to see that growing to 10% in terms of intellectual property, and the profit growing there to like 37, 38, 40%. That's a great number that we can look at. I'm sure a lot of you might be thinking right now is like, why is Pradeep talking about all these numbers? We still haven't got into the event industry. And the reason why I'm talking about numbers is to give you an insight before you take your decision of getting into this industry, and you already taken, I guess. That's why you're doing this course. But before you get into a professional environment, you should know what you're getting into. Gives you a clear picture as to what our industry today is and what it can be in future and the scope. Here are the opportunities that I would want to discuss with you. So this will help to make your decision even more concrete and to give you a more clear picture about your future. Specialization in the sector. So what has happened now because of a lot of event and the types of events that have entered India. So what happens is that before there has to be one company who does everything. He does weddings, he does everything. So social events, we do sporting event, we do corporate event, we do birthday parties and like that, everything. So a company will do all kinds of events. Now with the variety of events that have entered India, with categories and different types of events that have entered India, so one single company can specialize in one particular type. So for example, Procan International, they're purely into marathons, they're into powerboat racing, they're into sport related event. So one company can purely specialize in that. There are companies which are into award category like India Bike Week, this MTMG. So they create a lot of IPs. So there are different. So what happens is that uh, if you're a person who if you're a person who is a sports enthusiast, you have a deep knowledge about sports, but you are equally passionate about event industry, then it's not compulsory that you get into weddings. It's not compulsory that you get into corporates. You can purely get into sport kind of event. So based on the interest that you have, based on the specialization that you've done, so you can get into that and create that as your forte, create that as a forte of your company and pursue that, or be a part of that company. That, and today you have an option. Like 15 years back, if I was searching a company which does only this kind of event, searching that kind of a company was almost close to no. But today there are so many companies options that you guys can look up to. You can search for those category or kind of companies and apply with those companies. Like for example, DNA handles the IPL, they handle the ICL. So you are more inclined towards that kind of leagues, then you can join that kind of a company. You are inclined towards Filmfare Awards or inclined towards IFA Awards that happen, then you can join BizCraft. So every company has created their own forte, their own specialization. You can join Encompass if they want to create IPs, or you want to join Event Capital, which has a lot of IPs. Could be the Big Boys Toys, or could be the entertainment show. So it depends. Like you want, as a personal growth, you want to learn more about IPs, then you apply with that company. So that is one opportunity that you can look. That today you are able to pursue something that you like under event. Second is educationist. Okay, so here what happens is that in all the other industry, whether it is a design industry, whether it's an engineering industry, whether it's a medical industry, so the formal education is going to be same. For example, medical. What do? You do MBBS and then you do MD. Then you become a doctor. But in case you don't want to become a doctor, you can also pursue as a teacher, because there is a huge requirement of teachers also in the industry, so that they churn out enough doctors for the industry or for the society. Similarly, in design industry, similarly in engineering industry, not every person who passes out of BTech or MTech becomes an engineer. They also become educationists, or they become teachers, or they become professors. With the rapid growth of the demand for event industry as such, so what has happened is that in the last 10 years, there are a lot of institutions who have started offering event management as a course. So it could be what you're studying right now under IGNOU, or it could be different institutions who are offering diploma, postgraduate diploma, specialization in graduation or masters, etc. So there is a huge opportunity: 3-month course, 6 months course, 1 year course, 2 year course. So there is a huge demand for the people who have been a part of the industry. So what you can do is you can join event industry, get some hands-on experience for 5, 10 years or 15 years. If you feel that it is too straining as an industry for you in terms of being outdoor, so at that point of time you can come back and start training people, sharing your knowledge, sharing your information the way I am doing it right now. So I pursue a regular event company. I run an event company which has been performing for the last 10 years. But at the same time, my passion for teaching has always been around. So I take some time off my busy schedule and record such sessions for you, so that it will be informative. So you can also become educators for the industry. Rural penetration. So with the government of India, which has been focusing more on rural for the last 7 years or 8 years, I would say, what has happened is that the Digital India campaign has reached out to rural. Tier 2, Tier 3 cities are seen as the new opportunity places. Urban places could be Bangalore, could be Mumbai, could be Delhi, or could be Chennai. They have kind of outgrown themselves to an extent, sometimes saturated. But the level of events that are coming up at tier 2 and tier 3 cities, it's not because of digital India alone, because the people spending power there has increased. Because of television, people have got so much of knowledge. Because of mobile phones and smartphones reaching there, people have access to a lot of information. So there are a lot of concerts that are happening in tier 2 cities. There are a lot of experiential events that are happening in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So a lot of companies who used to be only in metropolitan cities now have created branch offices or smaller offices in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. And that also helps in another way. So you don't have to leave, for example, if you're coming from any of the tier 2 and tier 3 city, you don't have to leave that city. Rather, these companies are coming to that cities. You can join them because they're hiring local manpower, local resource, because in event, the local knowledge plays a very, very important role. And that would help here in terms of gaining more employment. Digital India. As I time and again I mentioned, Digital India plays a very, very important role in the event industry. All the events today are marketed to different digital platforms, could be Facebook, Instagram, or could be WhatsApp, etc. And there are many softwares that have been developed for the event industry. For example, softwares for registration, for conferences, for exhibitions. And today, a lot of scope has been given, or importance has been given, for virtual events, so that if there is an event that is happening in Bangalore, or it is happening in Delhi, a person sitting in Shimoga, a person sitting in Bangalore can also see that event, even if he's not able to travel. Or it could be an event that is happening in US. It could be beneficial for somebody from a very, very small town in Assam or small village. As long as they have internet, they can get access to it. So, and we as event companies can host such events. Virtual platforms or such technology are in place today, thanks to the campaign which has been initiated by our government. Next opportunity which I would also like to mention is personalized event. So what has happened today is that, as you know, wedding event, what happened to weddings? So weddings were mainly done by the family members itself, like chacha, uncle, aunt, and brothers, sisters. Everybody used to come together, and each one of the family members to take up on a task, and they used to execute it. What used to happen is that everybody is busy in that work, that nobody is enjoying the wedding, and nobody remembers what exactly happens. This used to happen 20 years back, but now things are different. People hire wedding planners, and they take the complete control, from designing your wedding card to designing your wedding dress, to your makeup, to your card decor, to the hotel that you select, the food, the catering, the styling, your vacation, and if it is a destination wedding, how they will fly, your visa, tickets, etc., etc. Everything is managed by wedding planner. The reason being, the entire family is enjoying the entire process. Could be from the roka to the haldi ceremony, etc., whatever kind of ceremonies that we have. So they are enjoying it completely, being a part of it, getting captured the entire. So what has happened is that this has further evolved, and people with good spending power have want even more detail. So I have seen a few events. For example, if I'm organizing a movie night for my friends, just 30, 40 of them. So what happens is that here the event companies will help you book a villa or an open space, like a good resort space or something. They will take the licensing of that movie. They'll play that. All the ambience around that venue is created as per the convenience of those 20, 30, 40 guests that I've called for movie night. So this, the amount of personalization it has reached to. A girl or a boy who are into relationship, the boy wants to propose the girl, asking her for marriage. Even that is designed and created or conceptualized by event companies today. So to that level, so personalized events are also now all of a sudden have come into mainstream. As I told in my previous session, that events like the funeral, the after, like for example, if there is a big celebrity or a big businessman who has passed away, after the cremation and everything, there is a sabha that is called, and even companies are hired today to arrange such sabhas and manage such sabhas, so that the family members are who are grieved at that such deep, like in such, who are in such bad situation because of somebody very close to their heart has passed away. They can purely focus on talking to their family and friends, rather than looking at arrangements. So event companies play a very important role. As I said, and I keep saying in my previous session, from the time you plan your birth, so baby shower to funeral, event companies are there everywhere for every occasion of your life. Global platforms, that's another opportunity. So the India Trade Fair that happens in London, or could be the Davos Summit that happens in Switzerland, and many others. So India, really leading at the global food front, has put our country into a very important spot. Every country is watching India now, and India is participating extensively in most of the events that are happening across the world. From our IT companies or from our multinationals, could be Tata, Mahindras, and everybody who have a global presence, are participating in events and other conferences or exhibitions that are happening across the world. So what has happened is that all of a sudden, everybody are seeing it. India has the spending power, is coming and doing events there. So we're collaborating with a lot of event companies abroad and doing such events. In fact, destination weddings have picked up on an average 50% to 60% year on year. Companies that countries that we have never heard of, could be Malta, could be anywhere. Look at the recent weddings of Virat Kohli and Anushka that happened, Deepika Padukone and Ranveer that happened at the Italy, and many others. So a lot of exotic destinations have opened up for India, and people are looking up because the celebrities are getting married there, and now people also want to go there, get married. So all of a sudden, we are a preferred country amongst the global destinations. Sports event, time and again I've discussed, and I've always said, with the coming of NBA, it could be powerboat race, or could be many other rugby events, or could be baseball, which has come to India, has opened doors to many global sporting companies, setting up their offices in India, opening up newer event avenues, creating newer event opportunities, collaborating with event companies to create such championship, or could be races, including, for example, both international circuit, which was created 6 7 years back. We had one round of Formula One, or one or two rounds of Formula One that happened. Post that, truck racing, Prima truck racing also came to India, and that was like the Prima was a sponsor of that. So the truck racing that happened at the Booth International Circuit. So these were things which we like 15 years back. I never heard of truck racing happening in India. Formula One, NBA. Oh my God, this is like something. I'm sure you guys are entering the event industry at a very, very good time, actually, with so many options which is available today, um, for you to choose from and make your specialization. These are some of the images of the kind of events. So the first image, you see the NBA India Games that happened last year. The second image on the right hand side, you see of a virtual conference that is happening, where around 1,000 to 2,000 people are attending across the world, giving you the feel of actual conference. And just below is the image of a powerboat racing. So One point that I forgot to mention is the virtual events. With accessibility to technology becoming much faster and much more feasible, so virtual events has picked up really well. So if there is a conference that is happening in somewhere in Las Vegas, or it is happening in San Francisco, and due to some time constraint, or due to financial constraint, if somebody is not able to travel, so those conference companies have created a digital version of it where you can attend those conferences live. And it's a small, it's like if you have to go to San Francisco, attend that event and come back, it's going to cost you not less than 2 to 3 lakh rupees. But the same thing can be attended today by paying just 10,000 rupees as a digital event ticket, and you attend that. So things have evolved. So by paying 10,000, you're saving around 2.5 lakh rupees of going in. Yes, the experience is going to be completely different when you're there in person, but at times when situations don't permit, and if there are many such events happening throughout the year, you can't keep going to every event and spend like 30, 40, 50 lakhs a year, right? So what we do is we attend few of this online, and few wherever it's possible, we attend in person. So this has opened up a big opportunity area for a lot of companies to create virtual platforms, to create virtual event companies. It could be even because there is an event that we want to do in India, and that is a speaker who's from a different country, could be from Finland, or could be from anywhere, could be from Antarctica. As long as he's got an internet connection, and in case he's not able to travel, they can do it online. So that's the advantage technology has got today, and a lot of technology companies are kind of focusing on that. So with this, I come to an end of our session, that is scope, growth and scope of event industry. I'm sure this has given you a clear picture as to what our industry can do and what it has been doing for so many years. Companies like Wishcraft and many other who have been there for, I would say, more than 30 years, they have seen how this industry has grown more than what I have. But at the same time, uh, I have seen this industry for the last 15 years, and this there has been a tremendous growth. What you made is the right choice. Just that I would suggest that you go and do a little more research on the points that I mentioned today, so that it gives you a clear insight. While you go through the entire course, identify the specialization that matches your interest. It could be outside the industry also. Make that your specialization, make that your forte, and pursue that. And I'm sure any kind of industry that you join, if you're doing it with a lot of passion and hard work, automatically, even if there are 1,000 companies already operating, you will still excel in that. That's my message. Thank you, and have a good day.